Hey folks, so we are getting into this last section, 13.3, Truth in Lending. So now this is all going to be about APR, at least the first part of this. And so you've probably heard of APR in different areas. What is APR? Well, without getting too specific into the details, let me just read what we have here. So since lenders describe their interest rates in a variety of ways, so compound interest, simple interest, so we have all those different ways. The annual percentage rate, or APR, was developed in order to attain a standard interest rate that consumers could use to compare rates from different lenders. So since the actual calculation for APR is lengthy, specific combinations of APRs, monthly payment options, and finance charges per $100 have been synthesized into a table. See below or on page, and you can see this is a little outdated, but it's on page 751 in your textbook. So again, this needs to be refreshed, but it's still valid for what we're doing. So if you take a little bit of a look at it, you can see on the left-hand side you have the number of monthly payments, and they only have specific cases. So N is equal to 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 48, and 60. So again, it's going by years primarily, a couple of intermediate cases in there. And then across the top, we have different APRs. So the one thing you'll notice is that they're all multiples of 0.5%. So there's no 0.1% or anything like that. So that's not a perfect system, but it does give us a sense of how this will work. And then the last piece, which is probably the most important one, is the finance charge per $100 of amount financed. And sometimes you can use the variable H to describe that. But that's for an application that we aren't going to be using in this course. So we'll touch on it, but we're not going to be using it. So you can see we have all these different dollar values that are listed in here. So the smallest being $1.76, all the way to the largest being $39.61. So again, but what does this mean? Finance charge per $100 of amount financed. Well, we have a formula, just like everything else, right? So using this table, we can determine APR based on the details of a given problem. However, we will need the following formula to use the table. So the finance charge per $100 is equal to the finance charge over the amount financed. So again, now finance charge, you want to be careful. Don't confuse this with the credit card finance charge. That's like the monthly, payment or monthly interest that's tacked on. That's not what we're talking about here. This is something different. And the easier way to think of it is that the finance charge is really talking about the interest. So how much interest are you paying on something? So that is what you can kind of relate it to. That's the safer way to think of it. The amount financed, well, that's just how much you're borrowing. So how much borrowed? So again, be careful. So sometimes they can be a little confusing because they use different wordings and they mean the same thing. So, all right, well, let's try out some easier problems to get the ball rolling. So it says find the APR, the true annual interest rate, to the nearest 0.5%, so 0.5%, meaning we got to use that table for each loan. So we got the amount financed is $1,000, the finance charge, or the interest, is $75, and the number of monthly payments is 12. So the first thing we need to do is use this formula to find that finance charge per $100. Now I'm just going to abbreviate it a little bit, just so that way we don't write out all of that. So our finance charge per $100 should be our finance charge over $1,000 times 100. So now this one we could do without a calculator, but just to be safe, it doesn't hurt to do it. So 75 divided by 1,000 equals that, times 100 equals that. So 7.5. So 7.5. And now remember, this is money. So let's write it with an extra zero and put the dollar sign on it. So that's the finance charge per $100 borrowed. So now the other aspect of the table we need to go along with that is the 12. So that's the one piece, and we got the 12 payments. So now if we go back up to the table, so we have the 12 payments, so that restricts us to using just this row, but now we're trying to find $7.50 on here. And if you keep looking, the closest we're going to get is $7.46. 7.18 is too low, 7.74 is too high, 7.46 is the closest. So now we just go up and read off the percent. So 13.5%. So that means APR is 13.5%. All right, and that's it. That's how we can get our APR. Now we're going to see more involved problems in a minute, but let's just do it one more time, make sure we have it down. So we have the finance charge per $100. So our finance charge in this case is $750. Amount financed $6,600 times 100. So that's going to give us what? Well, so 750 divided by 6600 times 100. So it looks like $11.36. But now the monthly payments in this case is 30, so and 30 payments. So let's go up, take a look at our table. So again, so 1136 and 30 payments. 30 payments is right in the middle here. 1136, well, 1135 is pretty darn close. So let's see what that is, 8.5%. So 8.5%. So not too bad when they give you that specific information, but what if they don't? What if they kind of hide it on you a little bit? Well, let's try another problem. So this one still wants you to find the APR to the nearest 0.5% for each loan. So now they're giving you the purchase price was $4,190. You made a down payment of $390. The add-on interest is 6%, and the number of payments is 12. Okay, well, so that's good. We know that. But what about this other stuff? How does that help us find that finance charge per $100? So remember, we need the finance charge, which is the interest that we're going to have to pay on that loan. Well, they're not telling us the interest. They're telling us the interest rate. And remember what we said about add-on. Add-on means simple. So it's simple interest. But what are we borrowing? What's the amount financed? Well, that's where these two pieces of information come in. So we have the purchase price is this, the down payment is this. So what we're actually needing to borrow, the amount financed should be equal to the difference. So that looks like $3,800. So $3,800 is actually what's being borrowed. But now, so we know that's on the bottom. But what's that interest going to be? Well, because it's simple, we can use our formula. I equals PRT. So we know what we're borrowing, $3,800. We know the interest rate, so 0.06. And then how long are we doing the loan for? Number of payments is 12. So 12 payments is 1 year. So just times that by 1, and let's see what we get. So 228. So that's how much interest we're going to have to pay. So that's going to go right on top. And so now, what do we get from that? So 228 divided by 3,800 is 0.06. Whoops. Times 100. Better be 6, right? So $6. And 12 payments. So we're going to go back to the table. So again, 12 payments and $6. Don't forget it. $12 payments and $6 is, well, 606 is probably going to be the closest. 578 too low, 634 too high. So that points to 11%. 11%. All right. So not too bad. You had to do a little bit of front work to get to that finance charge for $100, but very reasonable amount of work. So let's do it one more time. So again, we got our purchase price and down payment. So we got to use that to get our amount financed. So we got 7480 minus 2200. So that looks like what? Well, I'm guessing it's going to be 5280. 5280 looks good to me. All right, we got to get our interest. So 5280 times 0.05 times what? Well, our number of payments is 18. So remember, if you're not sure how to get it into years, remember this is monthly. So 12 months in a year. So let's just divide that by 12, so which is 1.5. So times that by 1.5, and let's see what we get. So 396. So $396 for that. And so now we can get our finance charge per $100. So 396 over what we're borrowing, so the 5280 times 100. I'll go over here. So we already got the 396 divided by 5280 is that, times by 100. 7.5. We're getting some nice numbers for those finance charges per $100. So we have that and 18 payments. So let's see what that APR is. So 18 and 7.5. Well, it's between these two, but which one is it closer to? So that is 22 cents below 750, and that one is 19 cents above. So it looks like that one's going to be just a little bit closer, so 9.5%. 9.5%. All right, well, let's stop there and we'll pick up the next application problem, and then we're going to change gears into a different topic. So see you soon.